Hey everybody, Peter Zeihan here, coming to you from the airport in Nashville, North Carolina. Sorry for the video quality and the sound quality on this one. It's just what I had to work with. The news we've had just the last couple of hours that there have been 8 separate attacks on Russia's Wagner forces in Sudan using drones that have Ukrainian script on them and that are normally seen commercially available drones that the Ukrainians have been using as part of their normal stock as part of the war in Ukraine. Now, I can't emphasize enough that this hasn't been confirmed, but Ukrainian is not one of those languages that just kind of pops up everywhere. So it seems that there's at least one special forces group from Ukraine operating in Sudan, targeting the Russians directly. And this is something I've kind of been waiting for, not necessarily from the Ukrainians, but people starting to do open season on Russian forces. Now that the Russian government has firmly admitted that Wagner was always a government program, and now that Wagner's leader, Prigozhin, has been killed and the Russian government has taken over the operations directly, there are going to be a lot of players who don't want mercenaries in their countries and are willing to attack a sovereign power in a way that they were not willing to target a private mercenary company. In addition, all of Russia's forces, no matter where they are outside of the former Soviet Union, are wildly vulnerable because none of these are proper military bases. The Russians have basically deployed them to camps that don't have air defense and don't have air power, for the most part. And so if anyone decides they want to take a pot shot at them, it's pretty easy. And that's going to be pretty much every single Russian force across all of Africa. So whether it's in the Central African Republic, somewhere else in the Sahel, here in Sudan, you should expect to see more and more attacks happening. Because now that the Ukrainians have broken the seal, so it seems, there are a number of countries in Europe that would probably have a vested interest in bloodying the Russians. And there's not a lot the Russians can do about it. All of their real military equipment is in Ukraine. And something that everyone has forgotten about the Russian position in Africa is that it is at the end of a very long logistical chain that the Russians do not control. Getting things to this area either requires flying it in which case you can only be brought in very, very small volumes, or if they want to do more bulk stuff, it has to go by water, and that means it has to sail out through the Turkish Straits, and Turkey's a NATO country, and then go through, say, Suez, which is a U.S. ally, or out through the Straits of Gibraltar by Morocco, which is a U.S. friend. All the while, lots of NATO forces are here and there. The Russians, remember, don't have a logistical capability by water except that which is allowed by the United States in specific and NATO in general. So if the decision is made by really any small country, and it's time to bleed the Russians, this is a wonderful opportunity to do so and make it deniable and make it hurt and make it public. And all that the Russians can do is suck up the damage and hope that that's not enough, that they actually have to shut operations down. And when the decision does come that they have to shut operations down, they are still dependent upon that entire logistical tail controlled by other people in order to get their people out. So the degree of strategic global public humiliation here is very, very robust. And I know that if I was Latvia, I would shove a couple of drones into that just to see what happens. Okay, that's all I got. Take care.